more about the difficulties you're having communicating with your wife.
I'm just really frustrated. I feel like she's always sort of verbally vomiting on me. And she just goes on and on when we're talking about an issue and never gets to the point. She just keeps stammering and stuttering and just nags me until finally I just get up and leave.
So you said that your wife verbally vomits on you. Can you tell me more about what this means to you?
It's just like a flood of jibber jabber, just nonsense. And I don't know, maybe it's her ADD, but it seems like she can't focus on an issue. She just keeps repeating the same thing over and over again and never gets to the point until finally I get fed up because there's nothing for me to respond to. It's just a series of meaningless words.
So I hear you saying that your wife's words are meaningless and that they're jibber jabber. Are you aware of the terms that you're using to describe her?
I've never really thought about the terms that I use. I guess it's just that I get impatient because she's not as intelligent as I am, and it's just difficult to wait for her to try to finish a thought. She never does. And eventually actually almost immediately, I put up a wall and just sort of shut her out because it's just too frustrating for me to deal with. And then after a while of sitting through it, I just can't take it anymore and I leave the house.
Okay. I noticed a couple of things while you were speaking. First, you said that you put up walls as soon as your wife starts talking. And you might agree with this, but it would be difficult for even the best communicator to get a point across if they had a wall up and couldn't hear what you were saying, don't you think?
Well, I never really thought about it that way. I guess a wall is a good description of what I do internally. I do create sort of a impenetrable wall that she can't get through, and I think that's why she repeats herself so much, is because I don't hear what she's saying, and she tries to restate it and say it a different way, and then she starts getting frustrated and she starts faltering with her words, and basically because she doesn't know what else to say or how to say it, she just kind of runs out of ways to try to get through. And I think in order for me to maintain this wall, I really sort of feel like she's stupid or just less intelligent than I am. And I tell myself then that it doesn't matter what she's saying because it's not worth hearing. And it's not really surprising that I can't hear her point of view when I feel that way. I've already decided that it's not worth hearing anyway. Basically the wall is just, I can see it's kind of just an excuse for me not to participate in the communication process. I've already decided that in my head it's not important, and so I withdraw and then basically sit there and wait for me to just get so fed up that I leave. And I know that's going to happen from the minute the conversation starts.
Wow. Well, what a great insight that you just had on some of the obstacles that have been preventing you and your wife from communicating effectively. What one thing could you do that might help you stay present when your wife is talking and maybe not put up that wall?
Well, I think instead of withdrawing inside myself, I could actually stay focused on what she's saying and then restate it to her so she understands that she's being heard.
I think that's a great idea, and it might also give her some confidence knowing that you are listening and maybe even be able to speak more clearly.
Yes.
And another thing I wanted to talk to you was that you had mentioned a couple of times that you physically leave the home while she's talking. And when you leave or walk away from somebody while they're talking, it's first it sends a message that they're not important or what they're saying isn't important. But the underlying or the core message here is that perhaps you don't want to be in the relationship. Is that the message that you want to send them?
No, I do value this relationship, and I definitely want to work on it. And I see how me leaving the house sends a message that is contrary to that. It's just that sometimes she can be very verbally abusive, and I don't want to put myself or subject myself to that sort of abuse.
I understand. How do you think you could respect your need to not permit yourself to be verbally abused, because that is important, but that you value the relationship and that you understand that she's got strong feelings and you want to hear them without walking out?
Well, I could just tell her that I need to take a break and that we're going to resume the conversation, that I'm not going to just leave, but I actually want to hear what she has to say. It's important to me. And then on the break, that would give me an opportunity to calm my frustration, and it will give her time to think of what she wants to say in maybe or a less emotionally charged, angry way.
Good. So you wouldn't have to physically leave the house, but you could maybe each go to a quiet space or somewhere, where you have some alone time.
Yeah, I see now that leaving the house and not coming back is not only not the right thing to do, but not the necessary thing to do. I could go for a walk, I could go to another room and read the newspaper, or there's plenty of ways to calm down without actually leaving.
Good. What about giving a time frame, to reconvene or to continue the conversation?
I like that idea, because that way I can feel okay about leaving the house if I want to, and at the same time that gives us both a certain amount of time that we know we have, and we can think about things rather than just sort of being angry with each other or trying to avoid the issue. We know we have to come back to the issue, and we can focus on what we want to say and deal with it.
Great. You did a really great job today. You really got some good insights on some of the obstacles to your communication with your wife, and also came up with some strategies to help communicate more effectively with her and let her know that what she has to say is important to you, and some ways to prevent that frustration and anger from entering into your communication with one another.
Yeah, I see that it's really important to create a safe environment for communication and make the other person feel heard. And I understand that some of my strategies have not created that, and has instead sort of fueled anger and resentment on both our sides.
Right. And it's sometimes there's the best way to communicate. I mean, there's just two really easy ways to communicate with somebody, and that's to be present so that that person feels like they're being heard. And then you can also repeat back to them what they're saying, so listening to them and then repeating their words back to them. And that'll also help them, feel like they're being heard as well. And that can help eliminate some of that anger and resentment, that comes up in the conversation.
Great.
Well, you did a really great job today, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next week and hearing how things go.
Thanks.